Christian von Koenigsegg, founder and CEO of the high-performance automaker Koenigsegg, revealed a next-generation engine technology that could potentially displace electric vehicles entirely. The unveiling took place at a tightly controlled, invite-only event hidden from public view and attended only by top automotive elites and industry giants. He introduced the revolutionary engine design, a monster in itself, with power and torque beyond belief in a surprisingly friendly and approachable way. This innovation isn't just a step forward, but the beginning of a whole new automotive era, the camless revolution. Christian von Koenigsegg didn't just stroll into the event at the old airbase runway in Engelholm. He owned the moment. Under the soft glare of studio lights, he brought out a short, wide-bodied carbon fiber test mule, tapped a button, and suddenly, silence gave way to something entirely new. Gone was the mechanical chatter of cams and chains. In its place, a clean, sharp hiss. That sound came from dozens of tiny air-driven pistons firing with mind-bending speed and precision. This was Koenigsegg's lightweight engine running on a radical system called freevalve. There's no camshaft, no timing belt, just ultra-fast pneumatic actuators, all controlled by artificial intelligence, adjusting every valve hundreds of times per second. The result? More power from every drop of fuel and far less waste. This wasn't some wild last-minute invention. Koenigsegg and his engineers had been refining freevalve for nearly a decade. Back in 2016, they shocked everyone by fitting it into a little 1.6L Chinese hatchback. That success proved freevalve wasn't just a gimmick, it could work well beyond commuter cars. So Koenigsegg's team kept going, upgrading actuators, improving AI, and perfecting the oil-air hydraulics until the system was tough enough to survive inside a world-class hypercar. The first real-world result is a beast of a motor nicknamed the Tiny Friendly Giant. It's a 2L 3-cylinder twin-turbo delivering 600 horsepower. Yes, 600 horsepower from an engine that weighs just 154 pounds. Drop it inside the 4-seat Gemma prototype, and this Mega GT goes from 0-60 mph in under 2 seconds. Keep your foot down and it'll hit 248 mph. The trick is constant valve control. At cruising speeds, the engine sips fuel gently. But the second the turbos kick in, the valves snap open fully for maximum power. This lets the engine act calm or crazy depending on your right foot. But Koenigsegg didn't stop there. Pair that tiny friendly giant with his in-house electric motor, dark matter, and things go nuclear. The motor alone weighs just 86 pounds. Yet makes 800 horsepower and 922 pounds-feet of torque. Combine the two systems and you get a hybrid producing one 700 horsepower and a jaw-dropping 581 lb-feet of torque at the wheels. All of that power is routed through Koenigsegg's custom Lightspeed transmission, LST, an N-speed multi-clutch gearbox that lets the car instantly jump from one gear to another. It's called Lightspeed for a reason. Still, brute force was never the only goal. Koenigsegg and his team became obsessed with efficiency. Freevalve dyno tests already show it climbing toward the magic number. 50% thermal efficiency. That's nearly double what old-school muscle cars managed. It's possible because this engine doesn't waste heat. Every cylinder breathes exactly what it needs, no more, no less. At idle, the engine simply closes all the valves and waits, barely using fuel until you press the pedal again. And it's not picky about fuel. This engine can run on regular gasoline, pure methanol, Brazilian ethanol, even synthetic e-fuels made from captured carbon and clean electricity. Fill it up with Sweden's biodiesel or straight e-methanol, and you get nearly net zero carbon emissions without digging lithium or overloading the power grid. In early June 2025, Koenigsegg opened up the old Air Force hangar at their headquarters in Engelholm and invited select test drivers and journalists to see it run. They watched a stripped-down Gemma prototype, still wearing sensors but no camouflage rocket down the runway, on a tank filled with 95% ethanol. It hit 60 mph in just 1.9 seconds, again and again, braking well before the markers at the end. The test logs showed every detail: exact valve events, fuel trim adjustments, exhaust temperatures. The onboard AI was making real-time tweaks, saving fuel while keeping the engine cool enough to protect the turbos. Many drivers still crave the feeling of a real engine. Slashgear's year-long series on manual gearbox loyalists broke traffic records, with people citing the same reasons: sound, vibration, and a sense of control. That's what most EVs lack. Koenigsegg's Lightspeed hybrid engine speaks directly to that crowd. It delivers the sound and feel of combustion without the climate guilt, cutting emissions close to zero when running on renewable methanol. Lawmakers in Germany and unions in the US Midwest are paying close attention. They fear that if battery megafactories become the only option, jobs and value could drain from their regions. Looking ahead, the data points toward coexistence rather than one technology dominating. Bloomberg NEF expects global EV sales to surpass 39 million per year by 2030, with battery vehicles eventually taking the majority share. But the IEA's net zero roadmap shows the fastest emissions cuts happen when small city cars go electric, while heavy-duty and rural vehicles use ultra-efficient, low-carbon combustion engines. This philosophy of choice is now being tested in the real world. The Gemera, the first production car with the tiny friendly giant and dark matter hybrid powertrain, isn't a lab experiment. It's a fully realized four-seater hypercar designed for both extreme performance and daily usability. Owners report the car's personality matches its dual nature. It can whisper through city streets in near-silent electric mode, then unleash mechanical fury and instant torque on command, all while running on multiple fuels. The conversation is also shifting in politics. The EU's original plan to ban all combustion engines by 2035 has been amended to allow carbon-neutral e-fuels, thanks in part to lobbying by Koenigsegg and Porsche. This is crucial. It validates sustainable fuels as a real alternative to electrification. It acknowledges the goal isn't to eliminate the engine, it's to eliminate emissions. Meanwhile, Koenigsegg's subsidiary FreeValve AB is exploring licensing opportunities. Imagine retrofitting a vintage Vate with a camless head keeping its soul and sound while slashing emissions and doubling efficiency. Or imagine major truck manufacturers using it for ultra-clean diesel engines where batteries still fall short. The challenge, of course, is cost and scale. Precision actuators and AI systems are works of art, and art is expensive. The test will be whether this technology can be simplified and mass-produced for mainstream consumers. But history shows us from ABS to turbos hypercars often pioneer tech that eventually trickles down to everyday cars. Ultimately, Christian von Koenigsegg's revelation is more than just a new engine. It's a powerful argument against a one-size-fits-all future. It reframes the question, not what replaces the engine, but what's the best way to achieve sustainable mobility. The answer isn't singular, it's a spectrum. For some, that's a pure EV. For others, a hybrid. And for many, it could be a high-performance, fuel-agnostic engine that delivers the thrill of driving without the environmental cost. The path forward isn't a narrow road, it's an open highway. Governments are writing rules that let any clean technology compete.